Hello, welcome to In The Dugout FM. I'm Millers, and this is the very first episode of Emulating Ange. So, as the name suggests, we're going to be attempting to emulate what Ange Postecoglou has done with Tottenham Hotspur in the first 2 months of the season, which is a job and a half without the likes of Harry Kane, as I'm sure you can imagine. I've just taken over as Tottenham Hotspur manager in the FM 2024 Early Access, also known as Beta. And this is to say that I'll be running right the way through up until the new release. So, as we look there today, you can see their culture, their desire is for us to sign young players, develop the youth team, which I'm all about, that's fine. Don't sign players over 30, which is a bit ageist, but we'll go with it. Work within the budget, no problem at all. And then the plan for this current season is record a top half finish, which is way worse than what Ange's doing right now. Reach the latter stages of the FA Cup, because we're desperate for a trophy, and be competitive in the Carabao. So, okay, all achievable, I think, and we'll accept that vision. In terms of what we have to spend and what we have to play with, not a lot when you think we've sold Harry Kane. So I've got 19.4 million to play with, and a little bit just short of 100 grand, 130 grand in the wage budget. So not a lot to play with when you look at the fact that we really do need a centre forward. So we've got our forwards there, Richarlison, Brennan Johnson and Son. As you can see, he's likely going to be the player that I start with up front. That's how I'm going to set up. But I do think there's a couple of areas of weakness: left back, centre forward, and ideally in the midfield as well. I need some legs. I know Sarr's performed incredibly well so far this season, but is he going to do it for me in game? I don't know. So there's stuff to look at, stuff to work on, but I've not got a lot of money to spend. So how we do that, I'm not entirely sure. What I'm going to do is work through the transfers, and I will come back to you at the start of the season when I've finished preparing my squad for that season, and then all being well, I'll run you through the team, and we'll get to a point where tomorrow's episode will be taking you through our first live com. Okay, I'll catch you all very, very soon. Okay, welcome back. For you, it's been a couple of seconds. For me, it feels like a lifetime. We've just finished pre-season. Spotted, I think, is the best way to say that. We've had some ups and downs. We've conceded a lot of goals. Concerned about corners, concerned about the keeper. But we scored a few too, which is positive. Our main goal scoring threats are dotted throughout the team. Johnson's had a good pre-season. Heung-min Son's had a great pre-season. Kulusevski has too. So there's some positives to take out of it for sure. I've been as active in the transfer market as I can with 19 million. I've done a little bit of an instalment play with a couple of players. One you might be a bit surprised about, but the others come through our scouting network. So let's have a look at that. So if we just look at our transfer history there, you can see that we've brought in Marcus Leonardo, a centre forward, to replace Harry Kane. So we managed to bring him in. Thankfully, I managed to do a bit of a deal with Santos and bring him in for 18 million, but I did a bit of an instalment play. So I think I gave them 6 million up front and then the rest in instalments over the course of 3 years to make sure that I could get it within the transfer budget. But I think you'll agree, he looks every bit a player for 20 years old. He's quick, he finishes well, he's done well in pre-season. He's played 2 games, scored 2 goals, so I'll take that. It gives us a point person, which is what we were crying out for. And then we brought in McSauce. We brought him in. He's a tenacious midfielder, and we don't really have that. So he's going to play on the right-hand side of our midfield. We managed to bring him in for an extortionate amount of money, but again, all through instalments. So I think I've paid 5 million up front, and then the rest is in back payments. So it's not the end of the world when it comes to our budget. As you can see, I've still got 7 million left. We're sat pretty much bang on our wage budget, which is a positive. No one has left the club. We did have some interest in Yves Bissouma, but for me, he's going to be starting. So as you can see, the only things we've had going on are loan movements really, and a couple of youth players going out the door. When it comes to what we're going to look like in terms of how we line up, this is us. So we've got Scott McTominay in there. He's going to be our right side of midfielder, box to box, with Bissouma sitting as that holding role. Perisic has earned himself a place for sure. Van der Ven and Romero are going to be the 2 centre halves. Marcus Leonardo up top, with Son, Maddison and Kulusevski behind. So it's really quite a nice little setup for what I've had to spend, I think. So if we look at what we've got coming up then, first game of the season, which we're going to come back for next episode, is Man City away. So there's nothing like a baptism of fire. If you're expecting a continuous winning streak from me, based on what you've been watching from other people, if there actually is anyone watching, you'd be wrong. I'm not tremendous at this game. I've played it for probably 20 years, but that doesn't seem to serve me any stead whatsoever. So the first game of the season is going to be really, really interesting. Obviously, this is all about emulating Ange and his performance, but if we look at the Premier League and what they expect us to do, the media is predicting us to come in 7th. I expect a little bit more than that. I'd like a little bit more than that. Obviously, my aim for this save is to be top of the league as we approach November. That's where I'd like to be, and then to kick on from there. But, as I've just said, I'm not backing myself too much. We've had nothing to spend. Although you could argue neither really has Ange. So, look, let's see how it goes. Thank you for watching if you did watch, and I look forward to joining you back when we play Man City away. See you soon. Bye-bye.